I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. And I've just been saying that there are at least 58 drinks coming to the festival, and probably slightly more because I know that Wise Bartender is bringing a load of wines with him.
Nice.
So how many of those have you tried?
Not all of them. I'm trying to think. I think I've probably had most of the beers. And then the ones that we've just done in our roundup. I've brought it with me. This turmeric, terrible lighting.
It's a white, shiny can,
This
so it's
white
going to be
shiny
terrible.
can. So this is like a kind of superfood drink. So it boasts having a heap of vitamins in it. In fact, I'm going to pour it so you can see the colour of
You can
it.
see the colour. I really like this drink. It's a turmeric healthy energy drink. And as you can imagine, I can't get enough of healthy energy drinks right now. So
When I first drank it, I had it from the can, and then I had no idea what the colour was. And then Sean wanted some and held out his glass, and I poured it. I was just like, oh my God. It's like It's like a science experiment.
but it's turmeric. It's natural.
It's all turmeric, yeah.
This isn't like the day glow of one of those energy drinks like Monster. This is a natural colour, and
Yeah,
is the
it made me
natural
really
colour of
happy,
turmeric.
like kind of guilt-free energy drink. Because then I was like, surely there must be other stuff, but it's all natural. Everything in it is just like natural and vitamins. There's no kind of mad E numbers or anything.
I'm really looking forward to having it at the festival, actually, because Gusto has one of my favourite energy drinks as well, which is sweetened with agave. So again, full of
Nice.
healthier ingredients. So it's really nice to have two drinks that might pep you up a bit, but aren't full of sugar and baddies.
Yeah, definitely. So that was, and I've never really tasted anything like this either.
What does it
Like,
taste like then? Come on then, tell me.
oh, crikey. I mean, you can definitely taste the turmeric, but I was worried about that because I thought it was going to be like a really muddy thing. But it's not at all. But it's quite pineapple-y. It's very tropical, but then it's not super sugary. I think using the turmeric in it kind of just brings it back down to a normal level. So when I'm drinking it, I kind of feel like, oh, like it really sort of peps you up, but it's not like I'm going to be running around on a sugar high and then just fall over a half an hour later. Yeah,
But
I really, really
that
like.
means that I think that means that should be the drink that you start the festival with. So you've
Yeah,
got
this
the
should be
energy
my
to go
morning drink.
around.
Yeah,
I think I'll be stashing cans away for day two. So
nice.
that's cool. So actually, altogether, we've got about 13, 14 beers because there are some coming with Smart Beer Club as well. Are there any stars in the beers for you?
So,
There's some new
one
ones.
thing. Sorry.
There's some new ones like Lucky Saints new. People wouldn't have tried that here.
Yeah, so Lucky Saint, I've had two bottles of it. And the first one I had, I was like, oh yeah, I like it. Wasn't like, wow. And then I drank it again the other night and I was like, I take it all back. I really, really love it. I drank it, I think maybe I didn't chill it for long enough, the first one that I had. So I just didn't get that excited in the second one. It's kind of very similar to a Czech Pilsner. So with Czech Pilsners, you tend to get slightly more yeast character, like you get a little bit of maybe savory breadiness. And sometimes this kind of, it probably sounds really weird, Czech Pilsners are kind of renowned for having this slightly buttery sweet corn thing, which in a lot of other beers you would think of as being a very bad thing. But with Czech Pilsner, it's like, oh, great. And it actually really fits, I think anyway, profile-wise, into being a kind of very classic fit with the Czech Pilsner. And I think maybe the mistake I've made as well with alcohol-free beers is if I'm drinking a lager, I'll never even think that the brewer has thought to emulate a particular lager style. I'll just think, well, it's going to be lager, like. And then I think the second time I had Lucky Saint, it just kind of blew me away a bit because I was like, oh, this is actually
A Czech
quite
style
complex.
lager.
Yeah. And that kind of blew my mind because a few years ago it was just any lager's a lager, and now, yeah. So I was
think
actually
that's
really excited by that.
I think that's interesting because we often go, there's all these beers of different types, and then there's just alcohol-free beer. And we have
Yeah.
to begin to go, well, actually, if you don't like Czech lagers, then you're not going to like this beer, but you might like a stout and so on. And we need to get more complex in that discussion. So I guess
Definitely.
this is a good one for anyone probably who likes the Czech lager from Sainsbury's, because there's quite a few fans of that. And in fact, Adrian Chiles is a fan of that. And so maybe we can get him to taste the Lucky Saint at the festival.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd definitely, because I love the Big Drop Stout, and I definitely thought about other styles, but I think whenever it's like alcohol-free lager, I've stupidly written that off as just being, it's just lager, but there's so many different brackets within that you can explore. So yeah, I really, really rate the Lucky Saint. I've not been lucky enough to try the Adnams Ghost Ship yet. But I was speaking to a venue the other day who have it on draft, and I would really love to try and get there while I'm in London next week.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. And again, if we remember that I never drank beer when I was drinking, so I've only been drinking beer since I've been alcohol free because I find it healthy and refreshing. And actually, I found the Adnams Ghost Ship really nice because it's got a very citrusy flavour. And then when we did a tasting for Radio 4 with Jane Payton, she says it's incredibly brave for a brewery to take its signature beer, which Ghost Ship is, and make it alcohol free and not create a different branding for it, but say no. You know, so Heineken have done the same. And also there's a beer that you wouldn't have tried yet called Harvey's Sussex Best. I'm not sure if you know about Harvey's Sussex Brewery, but they've done their flagship beer as an alcohol-free beer. And the Smart Beer Club are bringing it on one of the days of the festival. They're only there for one day. And they're bringing that. And again, you know, it's a small brewery, but they've not just gone, let's just make an alcohol-free beer. They've gone, let's make our best possible beer and let's make it alcohol-free so that people who like our taste get it in both ways.
Yeah, I think it's really bold and really hard to do well as well. So yeah, I think definitely hats off to them. I'm really looking forward to trying that.
And that's great because that means that something's really shifting in the drinks market.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. I've actually got a bottle of the Ghost Ship here. Apart from, really weirdly, I don't know how to show it to you because I'm still the wrong way round on my camera.
I can.
Wait a minute,
I mean,
I can't.
It looks great either way.
I actually don't know how to do this because it's very strange. Anyway, I'm going to try not to hold anything up because clearly it's not going to work because we're both on side for me. Right. Other drinks that are there that people might not have seen before. What else have you tried, Anja?
Well, in my other hand, I've got some Gunners.
Oh.
It's not quite as bright, but it's still quite a satisfying peachy orange colour.
What is a Gunners?
So Gunners. So actually, weirdly, a couple of the drinks that we've tried recently have been became popular when we were colonising everywhere, and there were Brits living in other countries. So Gunners comes in a giant can.
It's a giant. It's massive. It's a pint. Good old pint, isn't it?
And it was made popular by British expats living in Hong Kong. So the original cocktail, I think, was just called a Gunner. It was alcohol-free, I think. And I really like it. It's kind of like a grown-up ginger beer.
It's not very sweet, is it?
No, it's not. It's really well balanced. I think they have used, there's some bitters in there, I think, but it'll only be like a very fractional amount, which I think really helps to kind of mellow that out and give it a bit of complexity. But you still have kind of all that ginger warmth, but there's quite a lot of lime in there as well. So it's also quite tangy, quite zesty. So it just, I was really pleasantly surprised. Also, because when I looked at it kind of reminded me a little bit of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. It reminded me a bit of like Strongbow dark fruits, and I was like, oh gosh, no, I can't do it.
I knew there was something that the can reminded me of.
But then I drank it, and I was really surprised that I really enjoyed it. And I think because if someone gave me a can that size of most soft drinks, I wouldn't be able to drink it all. It would feel really bad. But I think because there's that nice balance with the bitters and the citrus, it's not too kind of, like if you were to have a tin of Jamaica ginger beer that big,
Yeah,
would just lose mind of it.
you go into a coma, I think, a sugar coma with that.
So.
I think it's those sugary thing. The makers of Gunners, really interestingly, tell me that the reason why it's in such a big can is that it's really popular on golf courses.
Yeah, they're mad
And
for it. They've
so,
got these
yeah.
really beautiful glasses. So they make the Gunners pint glasses, and then, like at the bottom of your glass where you'd have like the little bubble maker, theirs looks like it looks like they've printed the glass on top of a golf ball. So there's like an indentation in it in the bottom. So it looks like all your bubbles are coming out of a golf ball, which I think is adorable. Makes me want to take up golf.
What else have you got?
I kind of drank everything. But so I've had Green King Old Speckled Hen, the alcohol free. Again, that's another one where they've been really brave and tried to recreate like one of their original beers, but with no booze in it. And I thought they achieved that pretty well. And the malt comes through really nicely. So I think they've used caramel, so it has got quite sort of soft caramel toffee undertones to it. But it's still got a nice hop balance, and it's still really full-bodied as well, which is always the hard thing to achieve with the alcohol-free beers. So I did really enjoy that. It's not a style of beer that I drink that often anyway. I don't tend to go that traditional, but I did really enjoy it. I can imagine having it like with a pie on a Sunday. Just trying to think what else I've had. Oh, I know what I have had. I've got the bottles here. So these are empty because I just necked both of them. They're great. So these are the Far Side cold brew coffees. Oh my God. So they're amazing. I think the Peruvian was my favorite, just because it was the kind of flavors that I would look for if I was buying coffee beans. It's really smooth, quite a lot of chocolatey flavor in there, whereas the other one is a little bit kind of drier and a bit more bitter. But I'm absolutely in love with them. Like the branding of them, I put it on my Instagram. It's like, look, but just the branding on them, I don't know if you can see, it's just so pretty. And it just felt like such a treat to open my fridge in the morning and open them. I was like, great. So really looking forward to meeting them. And I really, really rated I think, is it pronounced Seckford?
Seckford tonics, yeah. So they're really interesting because they've got very boozy names, which is a little bit unfortunate. But as tonics, they're beautiful.
Yeah, so I was a bit. When I saw the labels, like the branding's beautiful, but I was just like, oh, it feels really booze centric, and I was a bit.
She's designed them to go with particular alcohol, so it's very clear on the front. This goes with rum and mezcal, or this goes with a whiskey, and which is how she designed them. And give her a due, she's worked hard on that.
Oh, definitely. Like, yeah, they were really surprising. Just, I think part of me is like, it makes so much sense that she has labeled them like this one is the whiskey one, because when you pick apart the elements of whiskey and kind of like the peatiness and things that pair well with it, she's really, on each one, she's really nailed isolating those flavors and what complements them. But what's so great about that is that you don't even have to think about adding the gin or the tequila or whatever, because they're so delicious on their own. Like, yeah, I think I'm absolutely going to order myself some of those. They were fantastic.
Well, you can go and neck them at the event. I mean, it's a really interesting discussion because we've got John Downes, the wine writer, coming to do a how to become an alcohol-free wine writer, how to become an alcohol-free wine expert in 25 minutes on the Sunday at the festival. And first of all, he said, right, I'm going to bring these 2 alcoholic wines and people can try them, and then people can try the alcohol-free wines. I'll talk about them. I said, well, that's not really going to go down very well.
No,
it's dry January. They're very high in alcohol and la-di-la-di-la. He says, but I need to be able to explain to people about wine in general so I can then explain about alcohol-free wine. And I said, right, well, we need to put this in context, and you're going to need to talk about some wines, but actually there's no ability to taste anyway for the sessions on the stage. But you're going to need to talk about that and make sure people really understand the context so that you can then talk about the alcohol-free. Because there is this bit where most of us have drunk, so having a frame of reference around things we've drunk before is understandable, and because we know we liked a Czech lager or a stout or stuff before, and so it's totally understandable that we've got a frame of reference that is still based in alcohol, which helps us taste these things, but it can strike an awkward balance.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult. Yeah, oh bless him. I'll just bring some wine along.
The other thing we've got coming, I said I wouldn't hold anything else up. I'm going to try and work out how to do this. Wait a minute. There is Wise Bartender bringing smashed hops and smashed apples, and they're really interesting. So I would describe them a bit more like a shandy, particularly the hops, the smashed hops. The smashed apple is still a little bit sweet for me, but then I was a very particular cider person, but really does taste of the apples in it. It's got that real earthiness rather than the sweet sharpness of an apple. So I think some people would really like to try that.
Are they like any percentage on those at all, or?
No, 0.05 is the same as a Coke or a lemonade or any other soft drink that you can buy.
Nice.
Other things that people wouldn't have tried before and that we haven't tried is Calieno's officially launching at the festival. So some people might have tried that at the summer festival. But it's officially launching, so I'm very excited about that. There's also an Italian bitter liquor called Bitter Note that Wise Bartender are bringing, which I think will be really interesting because it's good. I put some in the bottom of a glass of Scavy and Ray to make a bit more like a champagne cocktail, and that was really beautiful. It gave it a really bitter taste. And there's a new spirit that's being developed by the guy who runs one of our 5-star venues, actually, the Arbitrager. I'm trying to work out how to.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It's completely destroying my brain. Anyway, I'm not going to show it to you because it's too hard. But it's called Everleaf, and he's got a background as a botanist as well. He's a conservationist and a botanist, and he calls it an alcoholic bittersweet aperitif. He's also doing a talk about that on the Sunday, so I'm really looking forward to that because I think that's going to be really interesting. He's a very, very talented barman, owner and drinks maker, so that would be really exciting as well.
That sounds great.
And I'm really excited because Luscombe drinks are finally coming as well, and I love Luscombe drinks, and finally I bumped into the owner of Luscombe drinks at Food Matters Live this year, and that was the one thing that really good that came out of that. I met and had a half-hour discussion with him, and he's like, no, we're there. We realise that we need to engage with the new alcohol-free movement because we've got some really good drinks. I'm like, yes.
Last.
We also have some very low ABV drinks, which is a departure for us. So have you tried small beer yet, which is the 1% and 2% beers brought to us by the guys from Sipsmith Gin? Have you ever tried those?
No, not yet. I think I did email them to ask for a sample, but it was probably around Christmas time. And they just like, no.
So they will be there, and there'll also be a very low ABV spirit called Willow, which is made by Ladies and Gent Bar. So there's some really exciting new things to try as well. And for those of you who are looking at moderating, there are some moderation drinks there for you as well that might just have a little bit of ABV. So that will be interesting too. They will be very clearly marked, everybody, so that you won't pick up the wrong thing. Anything else that's piquing your attention at the festival? I'm just having a little look through the list.
I'm really excited about the beer tours.
Tell us about people running the beer tours.
So we've got Pete Brown, Emma Inch and Jane Payton, all of whom are brilliant people in the beer industry. So writing about beer and doing events and such. And what really excites me about that is that if these people are finally getting involved with Club Soda and sort of starting to shout about the amazing alcohol-free beers that are out there, I just see that as real progress. And it just, I think this might be the year, Laura, when the entire beer industry says, "Oh, wait, you're right." So I think, yeah, I think it just kind of heralds some good times for our interaction with the beer industry as a whole. So I'm really excited about that.
I thought we were already doing quite well, but there still seems to be momentum, and that's what's really interesting for me. And like I say, there's so many beers coming to the festival that people had tried before. Cypher's coming as well with Smart Beer Club. So that's a lovely Leeds-made alcohol-free beer, which is really cool. So again, you know, the fact that we've got over 56 brands here, and you can see I've been doing work on the booklet. And
Very good.
Lucy's been going through all my spelling mistakes. Wait a minute. I
don't think that it can be the right way around.
It's never going to be the right way around. Been working really hard on it. And then the programme of events is massive. So just to let you all know, because I'm going to put it up shortly, Adrian Childs will be at the festival at 12:30 on the Sunday. And he's going to help us launch the new pub guide that we're building, which will also be ready for next Saturday, clubsodaguide.com. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be asking you what questions you would want to ask different panelists that we've got coming. We've got Catherine Gray coming. We've got Rosamond Dean, who writes Mindful Drinking. We've got Andy Ramage from One Year No Beer. We've got the guys behind Dry January who've written the Try Dry book. Loads of it's being hosted by Janie Lee Grace, who's Radio 2 presenter, but also a Club Soda member who's coming out as alcohol-free this January, and we'll be doing some work with her. If you can't book tickets, we've just upped the number of tickets, but if you can't book tickets, don't worry. The stage space is actually in the main body of the festival, so there's not like a separate room with doors and stuff. It will be part of the festival, so you'll be able to stand around and see people as well. So don't go, oh, I haven't got into the workshop, so I'm not coming. Come, because there will definitely be people who don't turn up, because that's what happens with free tickets. And there would definitely be space for people to stand. And then, I mean, we've not talked so much about the drink stage, but we've got an amazing drink stage. Dishoom are coming to show how to make some of their cocktails that they have.
That's going to be so good.
I'm so excited about that. Dishoom, they were just, you know, when you speak to a big restaurant chain and you think, why would they talk to us about coming on a guide? And I turned up to their offices just before Christmas and it was totally mad. And clearly they'd been videoing for some social media, and the marketing woman said, can you hold on 5 minutes? I'm really, really busy. And then out comes the owner of Dishoom and says, I just wanted to make sure I caught you. I think what you're doing is brilliant with the guide and we're really proud to be on it. And I nearly just fell off my chair. And, you know, they're real big opinion formers in this sector. And then they've Instagrammed about the fact that they're on it as well. Yeah. And they've just introduced some alcohol-free wines this January, which is amazing.
Yeah, they've got the Eden Vale, they've got the Chardonnay and the Sparkling Cuvée. I don't think I've tried either of those yet. But there's a Dishoom in Manchester. And I'm thinking about having a little trip to Manchester soon.
I think I'm talking to some people about the next Manchester social. So I think maybe we might have to do it at Dishoom, but you can't book. So I'm trying to work out how we manage this without having to queue up for hours. Because, you know, we're sober. We don't need to do that, right? So we'll have to have a little think about that. And we've also got each of the beer people are doing a talk, but actually Jane Payton is doing one tour around the festival that isn't a beer-based tour.
Yeah.
So she's taking people around the rest of the festival, and she'll also be talking to you about how to become a low and no expert in 25 minutes. So she'll take you around some of the things that you'll be tasting and the difference between tasting alcohol and not alcohol. So I'm really excited about her doing that, because when we did the tasting with her for Radio 4, she just got such an innate knowledge of tasting drinks that makes me so excited, because, you know, as you know, I go, oh, it's not too sweet, and oh, it tastes quite nice, and people like you and Jane have a far more superior vocabulary to go with trying drinks. So
I feel like the more I talk about drinks, the more I run out of words to use. find myself using the same words all the time. But
Who else have we got doing drinks? So we've got, and Laurie McAllis is doing the millennials panel as well, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
And then John Downs is doing, and Tom Usher, who writes for Vice, who's been on the Community for the last 6 months, is also coming to talk, which is great because this is a man who goes to see if he can die from eating too many cheap chicken and chips in the no-star rated takeaways in London. So the fact that he doesn't drink and then does those bonkers things is hilarious. We've also got Michael Isted coming to do a presentation, and he's got a book coming out. He's a master distiller. He's used to using plants and all of those things and distilling very, very fine drinks. And he's coming, and you can pre-order his book. I'm so excited. It is really an amazing lineup.
I'm feeling a bit nervous that I'm not going to see everything that's happening. There's so much going on.
I think I'm the same as well. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fit everything in. And I want to be able to see some of the sessions that Janie's running and some of the panel sessions. I want to speak to all the traders because we've got so much to tell them. I want to meet some of these new people in drink that are excited. And I'm really hoping that lots of people come. I'm always frightened that nobody's going to come.
Yes, you are. And then they always do.
Well, let's hope so. It's really quite early in January, but we are where we are. And I'm really hoping that that there is no doubt you will find something that interests you at this festival. We have got alternative gin and tonics like Teetotal G&T, as well as the Seaford tonics, as well as the Calenios, which will go with the Seaford tonics and so on. And then we've got,
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, so one of the drinks that I did try, and I've not got the bottle left, but it was called Chapman by...
Oh, yeah, it's Devise.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, it's amazing. It's got a lot of cucumber flavour in it. Kind of, I'm not sure how they've made that flavour so concentrated, and it pours this amazing colour of pink. It's got a little bit of berry flavour. It's really botanical. You just made me think of it because you were talking about G&Ts. And it's got just a little bit of kind of sweet, juicy citrusiness to it as well.
And it comes from Jamaica, not Jamaica, from Nigeria.
Nigeria, yeah. So that's the other one that apparently the story goes that there was a Nigerian bartender who was making this cocktail for a British expat, and the expat's name was Chapman. So that's where the drink comes from. And then I think the company name is because the 4 women that set it up, all their names begin with V, so they're Devise. But yeah, I really, really rate that. It was lovely. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting more of that.
Oh, that's cool. So there'll be the craft drinks. We'll have Square Root Soda as normal as well, which I'm always excited. They'll have their new gin and tonic. They'll have their new Negroni, and then they've got another one, alcohol-free margarita, which they've made, in their traditional hand press style. So it will be amazing as always, and hopefully they'll have some really good sodas there as well.
They always have such a huge range. It kind of blows me away. I feel like they think of every possible route that you would want to go down and just explore it. It's great.
I always end up at the festival feeling really thirsty, and I'm hoping not to do that this time and make sure I pick up plenty of drinks along the way. So do bring a bag. I know some people are bringing suitcases, and I'm hoping tomorrow our enamel badges will come, so we'll have some proper posh badges. Nice. No t-shirts, and now no bags because some things have happened over the last few days that mean we're not going to spend any more money. But there will be plenty there. And we've also got a tea and coffee company, so there'll be tea and coffee there. And also there's pulsitos, which are the dried broad bean type snack, which I'm not allowed. If you see me near, tell me to move away. And for any of you who've got questions about food, there is a big food court outside the venue where you can get food and then bring it into the venue. Mother Clucker's, one of my favourite chicken shops, is there, and I'm going to have some of that on Saturday. I might have to run to the festival on the Saturday. I'm just having to work this out because I didn't run today. And on the Sunday, there's a massive food market next door as part of the Brick Lane market. And again, people be able to buy food, bring it in, find a drink. We're really encouraging people to do that.
Yeah, it's like everything you need in one place.
Yeah, so that's a whistle-stop tour of the drinks. If you want to see more about all the drinks, they're all listed on mindfuldrinkingfestival.com. They're all listed on the front page, so just scroll down and you'll see them. And then there's links at the top which will take you through the different events and workshops. And like I said, we've got a talk from Kat from Movement for Modern Life about the happy hour yoga program they've designed for that point in the day where you're used to having a drink when you get back from work. We've got a professor from Sheffield University talking about how to use your imagination to change your drinking habits. We've got panels of Instagrammers and so on. And then we've got authors the following day. And like I said, we've got Catherine Gray, Claire Pooley. Actually, she's not sitting on a panel herself. She's running a couple of panels with us. She's running a panel of some of the bloggers and Instagrammers and podcasters to talk about what the role of doing that is in your journey. Does it help? And why have they carried on? Why has Dawn carried on blogging? Why has Sober Punks carried on blogging? I think it's a really interesting subject area. So lots to do. If you can come down even for part of the day, just pop in, say hello, and come and find me, and come and find Anja. She's going to be doing lots of filming though.
I was just looking at Stu's timetable, and when you left the call the other day, he was telling me about all these amazing gadgets that he's got ready, and I was just like, I don't understand any of it. I'm just going to be there.
So for context, I've tasked Anja and Stu to do lots of interviews, particularly with the beer companies, because we need to put together a training video about how to sell alcohol-free beers. And then I want Anja to collect lots of content. So on the days that I'm feeling lazy, I can put her video up for the webinar. That's my plan.
Is it so you can have a Sunday night off?
So I can have a Sunday night off. And so I'm making Anja stand in front of a camera, and Stu, who works in our team, will be working with her on it.
Hilarious.
Anyway, so you'll see us both at the festival. Come and find us, and don't laugh at Anja while she's speaking to camera.
Yeah, no, because I won't be able to cope with that.
And if you've got any more questions about the festival, ask them here. I'm around all evening. All right.
Marvelous.
Okay. Speak to you all soon.